Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council for Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. All meetings are live streamed to the City Channel Pittsburgh YouTube channel. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Here.
Ms. Gross. Mr. Kraus.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle.
Here.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Here.
Ms. Warwick.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. Mrs. Kelsmith, President. Reverend Burgess Pro Tem.
Here.
6 members present.
Thank you. I want to ask a favor. I know we have a proclamation. Could you bring the two girls here and they can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Yeah, bring them right up here. It's easy. Yeah. And they just stand them right there, and we'll stand and they'll lead us.
Go get them, kids.
And we probably have some pins for them. We may have some city. Do we have city council pins for them?
We don't have, I can give the.
Okay. So you'll face the flag. Face the flag. Face the flag. Put your hand on your heart. We will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have a moment of silence. We're just going to follow you.
Pledge the allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. You have a future in public speaking. Yeah, she has a future in public speaking. I can hear it.
You nailed it.
And I know a little bit about it. The next order of business is to amend the agenda. Is there a motion to amend the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Our next order of business is proclamation. We have one to be presented, and that is Women in Science. President Smith is not feeling well, and so I'm going to present the proclamation on her behalf. So with those folks representing the Women in Science from our illustrious CMU institution, would please come forward. That right next to me. I'll read the proclamation, and then we'll pass it, and then I'll give it to you, and you can say some words. Whereas Women in Data Science, Pittsburgh, is back at Carnegie Mellon University for its 5th annual conference to be held Thursday through Friday, March 24th to 25th, and whereas since its inception as a one-day conference at Stanford University in 2015, Women in Data Science has grown into a global movement with over 200 regional events nationwide, and whereas the conference was first held in Pittsburgh in 2018, and had nearly 150 local participants, including students, faculty, companies, nonprofits, and campus organizations. Today, over 120,000 people attend the conference in person and via live stream or Facebook Live. And whereas Women in Data Science is the only woman-centric data analytic conference in Western Pennsylvania. The conference is open to the public and is free to high school students, providing them an opportunity to see the possibilities in this field. Now, therefore be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby commend Women in Data Science for providing inspiration, education, community, and support for women in the field of data science, and be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare March 24th to 25th, 2003 to be Women in Data Science Day in the City of Pittsburgh. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it as ordered. It's approved.
Thank you so much.
Your proclamation, and here are copies for
Thank
others.
you so much.
And please introduce yourself
Oh,
and your
certainly.
guests, please.
So hello, thank you so much for having us today. My name is Rebecca Nugent. I'm the head of the Department of Statistics and Data Science at Carnegie Mellon University and a member of the executive committee of the Women in Data Science Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon event. I have with me my younger daughter, Julia McGovern, a student at the Ellis School, Jesse Albright, Associate Director for Advancement at the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Michaela Meyer, who is a PhD candidate in our Department of Statistics and Data Science, and my older daughter, Natalie McGovern, also a student at the Ellis School for Girls. So we do want to say thank you so much to the council and to the community for your ongoing support for this initiative. At the very first WIDS Pittsburgh at CMU event, we had this joke that if data science were a country, Pittsburgh would be the capital. We think that there's no other area that has done such a wonderful job in providing opportunities, be it education, be it networking, employment, et cetera, innovation, particularly in the data science area. And so we're very proud to be bringing this event back in person to Western Pennsylvania, and we hope that everyone is able to attend. And so thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Does anyone else want to speak? You can. If not, if you'd stand here, open up the proclamation, and look at Chris, and he will take a picture. Here you go.
Oh, wait, sorry, don't drop
There you go. He'll take a picture, and he'll smile. Thank you for bringing the children.
Oh, yes, no, we were very happy. These are future women in data science,
Yes.
right? Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for your support.
Be blessed.
Thank you.
All right. We have another proclamation to be read into the record.
Councilman Kraus presents, be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare April 8th, 2023 to be Wendy Miller Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair.
No, you're fine. Motion
Motion to
approved.
approve, please.
Was there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Do you want to say anything, Mr. Cross?
We're going to do a personal presentation to Wendy on that date, and so I'll save my comments for then. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Okay. The next order of business is public comment. I'd like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official actions, or deliberation, which are or may be before council. Your time for speaking actually is to us about business containing city business. All the other personal things that you want to talk about, you will, but it's really not our concern. Profanity will not be permitted. When you're called to speak, please state your name and neighborhood for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller.
Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller, Belsuver, and Santiago, Chile. This is from 8 June 2022. I'm a Global Intelligence Society U.S. National Candidate for President 2024. GlobalIntelligenceSociety.org. Trump and Biden and Gainey have not applied. The Global Intelligence Framework fuses optimal info and intelligence from 21 primary disciplines, including mathematics and statistics. I'm a member of the American Mathematical Society, and I applaud the inclusion of the people that we just saw here. A concern of this council is the family and the child. In an RLM PC 22 September 2015, I offered a GIS solution to protect our children. The only person who was on this council who responded over the last couple of years actually was Ms. Strasburger, and I thank you. There is no one central place in the city of Pittsburgh where children ages 5 to 15 can go to be safe. And at the core of all of my public efforts is the child, whether here across the United States or across the world. I propose creating a system of kid globes in the 9 districts of Pittsburgh. That, point one, would include 3 dimensional ultra advanced materials spheres, 100 meters in diameter, resistant to biological, chemical, and physical toxins, and bullets, to be places of refuge and bodegas of education and emergency housing opportunity for our children. All kid globes or spheres as a system would be administrated directly out of the office of mayor, and each of them in the district would be overseen by the counselor of the district. Number 3, each kid globe would be completely lowerable into the ground for defense. The top half of each globe fully retractable. Number 4, each kid globe would initially accommodate 250 children and 250 parents or guardians and 20 staff, including police. Number 5, kids most desperate would be able to enter by themselves. And 6, kids may come to the globe without expense for refuge from family or community violence or sexual predation, and to escape religious and gender and racial persecution. Take $10 million out of the $80 million that you've been seeking for housing in the Hill and provide housing to protect our children.
Okay. Our next registered speaker is Naomi Mullen. Are you online, Naomi?
Hello,
Hello.
I'm here.
Please
Shady
start.
trees, not shady deals in Bon Air. First, do no harm is not just a rule of medicine. Government shall not harm the people or can be held accountable. Blockbusting and infliction of emotional distress has occurred against Bon Air. Those who oppose property owners of Bon Air do so at their own peril. The Pennsylvania State Constitution says that government was created for the peace, safety, and happiness of we the people. Decisions and actions that harm the people are not acceptable. There are elected and appointed officials that have proven themselves to be enemies of Bon Air. This is not advisable. Mayor Gainey, Councilman Coghill, and Representative Benham have all pledged to help Bon Air. We want to get rid of our detrimental school and replace it with a green space. The memorial green space will be beneficial to all ages and stages of people, a beautiful, calming place to enjoy fruit trees, flowers, and birds. Will the rest of City Council promote the peace, safety, and happiness of the Bon Air neighborhood? The school board has proven itself as detrimental. Will you be part of the solution? On June 20th, 2022, the detrimental Bon Air school building worsened into being a disruptive and nuisance property. We have objected to apartments or anything other than a green space to replace the school, tear it down. The building is a magnet to youth who broke into and were taken away in handcuffs. Tear it down. Other neighborhoods have been blighted with worse. Do not allow it to happen to Bon Air. The outcry to the school board has proven futile. Put pressure on them to sell it to the city for $1. Tear it down. Now that McKinley Park is no longer in Bon Air, we want the school to become a green space as replacement. Open deals, not shady deals in Bon Air. Even current PPS employees have said the solution is to tear the building down to create a green space. Shady trees, not shady deals in Bon Air. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next registered speaker is Renee Wilson.
Renee Wilson. I live in the Hill District. I'm here because the black community in Pittsburgh has suffered for years from neglect from this government, from this government. We fight for housing. We have our education levels in the Pittsburgh Public Schools is almost zilch to none. Housing, we're always being threatened. We're in a fight right now with gentrification of the Hill again. I'm old enough to remember my grandfather owning property there and it being taken away and not compensated. We have a hockey team making our fate in our community. Because of this, we have made a pledge that we want our elected officials to sign to say that they will make their votes transparent where we can see them, not buried somewhere in the pile, and pledge to do the people's business right. This is unfair that the hockey team can get all of this and we can't get nothing. I know we don't got billions and millions of dollars, but it is working people like us who make the city and pay the taxes. I also have a request for my councilman, Dan Lavelle, to have a meeting on the Hill to explain to people what is actually going on so we can know firsthand and not have to listen to a bunch of things going around. We deserve that much. We deserve that much. We would like this done before elections because we're going to have the pledges out for election. We're going to send them to each and every one of the council people. And we would like them to be signed. And all we want is fairness. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, registered speaker, is Pomai Chokmam Yahalahi.
Alake, Alakain, Grand Rising, everyone. I am Pomai Chokmam Yahalahi. Thank you, Reverend Burgess, for pronouncing my title correctly. I appreciate that. America is an ancient land of the Onkwe Onwe, original beings, inhabitants, and of many people, one nation, many people, one nation, and of the indigenous autochthonous people. All international governments knows this and does, as so does the United States government, acknowledging our rights as Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, and excluding Indians not taxed. And Indians, by constitutional definition, is the Aborigines of this country, or so-called. This is city business. The discrimination and genocide of our people here on our land in the Delaware Territory, so-called Pittsburgh, is of all city council members' concerns. As a direct result of your Constitution, Home Rule Charter, oath of office, and our treaties, as evidenced by your Pledge of Allegiance today. All of the history has been a lie. Everyone has been taught the reverse of truth in all things, from cradle to grave, intentionally, to hide paper genocide, eugenics upon my people, who are the origine, the autochthonons, the Onkwe Onwes, the original beings, the people of America, the true Americans, have been unlawfully reclassified to so-called names such as colored and Negro and blacks. And all of this has been a means of erasing and revising history and dominating our natural resources belonging to our people, the Onkwe Onwe. And we're coming, and this is the day and the time internationally around the globe where indigenous people, the Aborigines, are rising to say enough, stop, no more genocide. We invoke our rights. We invoke the future of our future seven-span generations from time immemorial. This is what is important for our people, for we have been the most marginalized on our own lands, and no one else fits that category but the Aborigines. And we have stood in solidarity with Black people, people identifying as Black and African American, and we have stood in solidarity with people who identify as white, and we have stood in solidarity with people who are the immigrants on our lands. And this is recorded historically. So now is the time to make good on the promises of you, your ancestors, in our treaties and in the Constitution, to rightfully assist in repairing, restoring our lands and our resources and our people. And I yield.
That exhausts our registered speakers. And now, is there anyone in council chambers who wants to talk about upcoming chamber council actions?
Good morning. My name is Yvonne F. Brown. I live in Kaylee Rivers Tires. That's up at the top of Bedford in the Hill District. I didn't come last week because of the ice and the snow, and I can't walk that well as it is, and I didn't think it was worth me breaking my neck for you to not see me months and months at a time if I break my leg. So I made sure I stayed home so I can come and tell you. I wanted to explain to you because people were calling me, because I thank you, all of the people that called and was worried about me, even your council lady, because my daughter had said you had called. I want to explain to you why I come, so you can understand me. Not that I come down there hating on you. I come down because I had a father that he ran an after-hour joint, and there would be all kind of drinkers and, all kind of people. I had been raised up in Penn Hills from a religious family. When I came down there, I just couldn't see these people. They were like below me, but my father said this. He said this, that he couldn't stand a liar or a thief. But he said the thief you could protect yourself from, but the liar you cannot, because you can die from a lie. And that's what my son died from. I also want to tell you that when my son, I guess he was about 30, and he had called me at 6 o'clock in the morning. I had a car then, and he was calling me, telling me that he had a job with a construction company, but the fellow that was going to take him didn't come. He said, Mommy, if I go, I know I got the job. They need him bad. So I drove him all the way to Squirrel Hill. And at that time, they were cutting through the land that you could cut through this and come out on Homestead. But anyway, I would take him. I took him, I think, for a couple of weeks. And then the one day he had came in and he was real excited. He said, Mommy. Every day when he had went and he was eating, he would go across the street to another construction company. And he was sitting and talking, especially with this one white man. He said, Mommy, I didn't know that he was the head of the construction company. And he told me, Anthony, I don't have any openings, but if I have one, I'm going to call you. And my son was looking at me and he looked. You know why I come down there and look in your eyes? Because he, just like my son said, Mommy, I looked in that white man's eyes and he's going to call me. He's going to call me. And sure enough, my son was dead. One day I picked up the phone and the man said, Anthony Johnson, and I said, oh, sir, he's dead. He went to hang up and then I said, no, sir, who are you? And he said, Mr. Gigliani. And I said, sir, listen to this. I said, my son told me that white man's going to call me. He told me he was a good man. And then I was talking. He said, Miss Brown, Miss Johnson, that's my son. But Miss Johnson. And I said, what? He said, you didn't hear me. Good people know good people. I want you to understand why I come down here is because my son was treated like less than these dogs. A dog cannot stand out in a half an hour in the cold and you'll take him in. But my son was begging for his life. And 5 cops let him die.
Thank you very much. And we do hope that your public comment does provide you with a sense of closure and grief counseling that obviously it helps you with. With that, is there any other speakers before us? If there are no other speakers before us, that will move us to our next order of business, which is the presentation of papers. Starting with myself, Councilman Burgess, Chair Human Resources, Councilman Coghill for me. Thank you very much. Brings us to Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Safety and Wellness. Thank you very much. Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Intergovernmental Affairs, Mr. Coghill for Ms. Gross. Thank you. We'll keep saying it, right? Like bingo.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill Number 1327, Resolution adopting the plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for the Arena and Sports Performance Complex project, which will involve the development of a new 6-story arena and associated 3-story sports performance complex. The site address is 3719 Terrace Street, 4th Ward. Bill Number 1328, Resolution amending Resolution Number 806 of 2018 entitled Resolution Authorizing a Cooperation Agreement or Agreements with the URA of Pittsburgh in connection with the URA's application for a Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant of up to $1 million for the Stevens Elementary School redevelopment project to increase the grant amount to up to $1,500,000 in authorized spending. And Bill Number 1329. Resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in favor of the Pennsylvania Municipal League in the amount of $52,962.24 for 2023 Pennsylvania Municipal League dues.
Thank you very much. That takes us to Councilman Cross, Chair of Public Works and Infrastructure. Mr. Lavelle for Councilman Cross.
I'm here, Mr. Chair. Thank
I'm sorry.
you, Mr. Chair.
I forgot you're on.
That's okay. For sure. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Councilman Kraus presents Bill Number 1330, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with the State Office of the Fire Commissioner for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds in the amount of $10,000 to support repairs to Medic 10. Bill 1331, Resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the final design and construction phases of the Frankstown Avenue Signal Improvement Project and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $4,153,349, reimbursable at 80%, and the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $13,000. Bill 1332. Resolution providing for a supplemental agreement or agreements with Michael Baker International, Inc. for costs associated with the Charles Anderson Bridge project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $3,130,324.66, an increase of $1,955,000 from the previously executed agreement. And Bill Number 1333. Resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission to recoup yearly costs associated with the city's participation and attendance in the member planning agency participation services.
Mr. Chair and Madam Clerk,
Mr.
I
Cross.
have a motion to waive rules on Bill 1332 at the request of the administration.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. All right, that brings us to now Councilman Lavelle, Chair of Finance and Law. Thank you.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill Number 1334, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the city solicitor to enter into a professional services agreement or agreements with Riser Consulting, LLC in an amount not to exceed $20,000 for professional services related to litigation in the United States District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania. Bill Number 1335, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds in the amount of $37,027.50 to reimburse the city for the installation of 10 dual-hose electric charging stations. Bill 1336, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the purpose of receiving grant funds in the amount of $253,125 to reimburse the city for the purchase of 45 all-electric vehicles. In Bill 1337, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds in the amount of $1,345,000 to pursue 3 electric recycling packers and 5 compressed natural gas garbage trucks.
Thank you very much. That brings us to Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services.
No new papers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Warwick, Chair of Innovation, Performance, and Assets Management and Technology.
No new papers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. That brings us to Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development. Thank you.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 1338, ordinance clarifying a street name discrepancy of Aliquippa Street between Sutherland Drive and Utterback Drive is located in the 5th wards of the City of Pittsburgh as per recommendation by the City of Pittsburgh Addressing Committee. The following street name was clarified by CPAC in January of 2023. The name listed in this ordinance shall be made official in accordance with the Pittsburgh Code Title IV, Public Places and Property, Chapter 420, Uniform Street Naming and Addressing. Bill 1339, resolution authorizing the mayor and the directors of the Department of City Planning and the Department of Finance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a license agreement or agreements with Duquesne Light Company, Inc. and Pittsburgh Parking Authority for the installation and maintenance of electric vehicle charging stations at 6117 Kirkwood Street. Bill number 1340, resolution authorizing the mayor and the directors of the Department of City Planning and the Department of Finance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a license agreement or agreements with Duquesne Light Company, Inc. and Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens for the installation and maintenance of electric vehicle charging stations at 1 Shinley Drive. And Bill 1341, resolution further amending Resolution number 647 of 2020, effective December 23, 2020, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2021 Capital Budget and the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2021 through 2026 Capital Improvement Program by reducing trail development by $500,000 and increasing facility improvements, sports facilities, by $200,000 and complete streets by $300,000.
Thank you very much. The chair does have one communication.
Council President Teresa Kelsman presents Bill number 1342, communication from City Controller Michael Lamb submitting the fiscal audit of the Shade Tree Trust Fund dated March 2023.
I need a motion to read, receive, and file.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, there's nay. It is now ordered. We will move now to unfinished business. Is there any further unfinished business before council? Seeing none, the next order of business is report of committee for final action, starting with, as always, Councilman R. Daniel LaVille, Committee on Finance and Law. Thank you.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 1323, reported to Committee on Finance and Law for March 15, 2023, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 1294, resolution authorizing the mayor and the city solicitor to enter into a professional services agreement or agreements with Loeb & Loeb LLP in an amount not to exceed $150,000 for legal services related to real estate matters. And Bill number 1297, resolution further amending Resolution number 863 of 2018, effective January 1, 2019, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2019 Capital Budget and the 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2019 through 2024 Capital Improvement Program by reducing Smallman Street reconstruction by $217,243.37 and increasing complete streets by $117,243.37 and increasing slope failure remediation by $100,000.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Ms. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Reverend Burgess Pro Tem.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilman Anthony Coghill, Committee on Public Safety and Wellness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 1324, reported to Committee on Public Safety and Wellness for March 15, 2023, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1288, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Safety to enter into a professional services agreement with Duquesne University for the purpose of spending grant funds not to exceed $150,500 to support the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police Inside Out Training Program. And Bill number 1289, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Safety to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Department of Justice COPS Mini Grant Program for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds in the amount of $150,500 to support the Police Inside Out Training Program with program partner Duquesne University.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? The bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Ms. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Reverend Burgess Pro Tem.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received a legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilman Bruce Kraus, Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Councilman Kraus presents Bill number 1325, reported to Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure for March 15, 2023, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 1290, resolution authorizing acceptance by the City of Pittsburgh of the dedication of a portion of Harvard Street, being Parcel B, as laid out on the subdivision plan of Block and Lot 83P165, as recorded in the Allegheny County Department of Real Estate in Plan Book Volume 290, page 4, in the 11th Ward, 9th Council District. Bill 1291, resolution granting unto Garden Theater Block LLC, their successors and assigns, the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense to install a grease interceptor below the sidewalk of 4 West North Avenue, 22nd Ward, 1st Council District. And Bill number 1292, resolution granting a vacation of an unopened portion of Wabash Street, located in the rear of McKnight Street, as shown on plan of the Denny Estate, as recorded in Plan Book Volume 7, page 2, 20th Ward, 2nd Council District.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Ms. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Reverend Burgess Pro Tem.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received a legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilwoman Barbara Warwick, Committee on Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Barb Warwick presents Bill number 1326, reported to Committee on Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology for March 15, 2023, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1295, resolution amending Resolution 532 of 2022, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements and amendments thereto for professional services with E-Plus Technology, Inc. for system critical adjustments, improvements, and upgrades to maintain the City of Pittsburgh's network functionality at an additional cost not to exceed $20,000.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Ms. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Reverend Burgess Pro Tem.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received a legally required number of votes, is passed finally. I'll do meeting announcements first and then motions and resolutions. Meeting announcements. This afternoon at 1:30 in Chamber, Council will hold pre-agenda interviews for Clean Pittsburgh Commission and Planning Commission. Also, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, council will hold an executive session on Bill 2023-1293 relating to the full and final settlement of a warrant. Council Standing Committee meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, March 22nd. To register to speak at this meeting, please fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage or call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Speaker registration will close at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Is there anything for members?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Krause.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Excuse me. Just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about why I have been doing my meetings from home here. As members are aware, maybe some of the public that is watching might not be aware, today's the 6-week anniversary of having shoulder surgery to correct a torn rotator cuff, which I would not wish on anybody. If anybody's experienced it, they have a sense of just how difficult and painful it could be. But the reason I bring it up is tomorrow is my checkup with the surgeon after 6 weeks. It's at 11 o'clock tomorrow, so I will not be participating remotely tomorrow. I will be meeting with the surgeon. I believe everything is good. I'm hoping that I'll be cleared, so to speak, and then I'll be placed in 4 more weeks of physical therapy, and God willing, everything will be okay. I'll be back to normal, and we'll be doing my meetings in person. But I just wanted to take that opportunity to sort of explain why you've been seeing me from home and not in chambers. So appreciate the time to let me have the floor to say that, Mr. Chair.
Anything else from members? I'll share a little something. I have a daughter who is a researcher, and she does historical research mostly around music. But over the last year, she has, as a hobby, been using those skills to do genealogy charts and look up my family history, right? And I'm an old man now, and she has uncovered things about my family I had never known. I have a Jewish my great-grandfather was Jewish, from Alabama, a Jewish person. I have a Jamaican, which I had no idea, great-grandfather from New England, Boston area, Cambridge, literally Cambridge, where my son went to school at, who owned a business there. I have Irish family that I always thought was from Ireland. They are, but not directly from Ireland, but from Canada. They came from Ireland to Canada first, and then from Canada met, I guess, a great-grandfather in Boston, of which my grandmother was born, and then she came to this area and somehow met my grandfather. My daughter has also traced back part of my lineage. I have a cleric who pastored a church outside of Boston. And I saw a picture of him with his wig and robe, right? And I was surprised, you know. I knew that we had mixtures, but I didn't know my family was a literal United Nations by itself. I say that to say 2 things I think are true. One, we are all family, whether we want to be or not. We are all connected. We are all related. And more importantly than that, because we're all family, and I say that to those here in the chamber, but more importantly to those who are watching, spend your day and your life being a blessing to other people. At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. With that, if there are no other things to bring before us, 2 things. We wish both Councilwoman Teresa Smith and Deb Gross a speedy recovery, and we are praying for Doug Anderson. We understand that he's in Chase Hospital, a sudden illness. My friend, former treasurer of the city, has our prayers, and his family and his in-laws, who are members of members, but are part of my, live in my council district. We are certainly praying for the family. And so with that, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes, excuse the absent members, and adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. We are adjourned.